Should we kill Bigfoot? Ethical considerations. The topic of killing Bigfoot has been of interest to many for decades. It has been debated whether or not it is ethical to kill a creature that may exist but is often hard to prove. In this video, we will discuss the ethical considerations and rights associated with killing Bigfoot. We will also explore the potential benefits and implications of such an act. Bigfoot is a cryptid creature said to inhabit remote areas in North America. The creature has been described as being bipedal and ape-like in appearance, standing taller than an average human and having a heavy coat of fur. While there is no definitive proof of the creature's existence, it has been the subject of much folklore and speculation since its first reported sighting in 1958. The topic of killing Bigfoot is relevant because it forces us to consider the implications of taking the life of a potentially sentient being. Many consider the creature to be either a myth or an endangered species, and thus must consider how their actions may affect the environment, other species, and even scientific progress. In the United States, each state has their own unique laws and regulations regarding hunting. Depending on the state, a valid license or permit may be required to hunt game or nuisance animals, and these activities are only allowed during designated hunting seasons. Furthermore, it is illegal to hunt Bigfoot as it is not considered to be an officially recognized species of animal nor a game animal. Hunting and slaughtering wildlife within public properties such as national parks is prohibited in all states due to its negative environmental impact. People who break this law can face serious consequences, including hefty fines and jail time depending on the severity of the crime committed. Skamania County passed the first regulation or rule pertaining to Bigfoot in Washington state. The Skamania Council Board of Commissioners outlawed Bigfoot hunting in 1969. The commissioners made it clear that any premeditated, deliberate, or wanton slaughter of any such species shall be regarded a criminal because they were so dedicated to safeguarding Sasquatch. The maximum fine for committing such a felony is $10,000, and the maximum jail sentence is 5 years. The old law was repealed and replaced by a new one in 1984 by the Skamania County Board of Commissioners. They changed the Sasquatch murder accusation from a felony to a high misdemeanor or misdemeanor depending on whether it was intentional or unintentional. They also reduced the maximum sentences to a year in jail and or a fee of $1,000 for gross misdemeanors and to 6 months in jail and or a fine of $500 for misdemeanor charges. Another Washington state county later passed similar legislation. Resolution 1992-043, adopted by the Whatcom County Council in 1992, designated the county as a Sasquatch protection and refuge area. They believed that if the big guy did exist, it would be insufficiently safeguarded and in danger of death or damage. Oklahoma legalized non-lethal Bigfoot hunting. The law has raised a lot of eyebrows, as it is an unprecedented move in the United States and acknowledges Bigfoot as real. The law mandates hunting licenses and provides a $25,000 reward for finding Bigfoot. The legislation aims to boost tourism in the area around the Ouachita Mountains. Some experts have noted that the $25,000 reward could lead to exploitation of the area around the Ouachita Mountains by big game hunters who may not care about preserving wildlife habitats. Ultimately, this legislation may boost tourism in Oklahoma, but it raises serious ethical concerns among conservationists and wildlife advocates alike. The laws governing hunting in Canada are set by each province and territory, which means that the rules may differ depending on where you are. Generally speaking, hunting for game or pest animals is legal as long as a valid license has been obtained and only during designated hunting seasons. However, it is illegal to hunt Bigfoot due to its classification as an unrecognized species or game animal. This means that there are no regulations in place regarding the killing of this mythical creature, making it against the law to do so anywhere in Canada. Additionally, any potential sighting should be reported to local authorities who can investigate further if necessary. The question of whether it is morally acceptable to take the life of a presumably sentient creature is at the crux of the ethical discussion surrounding the killing of Bigfoot. Bigfoot should not be killed, according to those who are against it, without careful consideration of the potential effects on the environment, other species, and future research. One potential benefit to killing Bigfoot is that it may help prevent human-Bigfoot interactions that could endanger humans. Additionally, if Bigfoot are proven to exist, killing Bigfoot could further ability to study them and gain knowledge about their behavior and biology. Proponents of killing Bigfoot point to the lack of conclusive scientific evidence for its existence as a justification. Supporters of the creature argue that the proof required to establish Bigfoot's presence has not yet been achieved and that hunting one down could provide this verification. They add that once an indisputable specimen is collected, it would be possible to initiate research and development programs aimed at safeguarding the species. This could include conservation efforts, habitat protection measures, population monitoring initiatives, and other forms of intervention designed to ensure its survival in future generations. The moral imperative to preserve Bigfoot's life must be considered before any action is taken. Not only would killing Bigfoot have a huge impact on the ecosystem and other species, but it could also deny humanity from gaining valuable scientific insight into this mysterious creature. For example, murdering Bigfoot would disturb their natural habitat and drastically reduce their population size, potentially leading them to extinction. Furthermore, if they were wiped out entirely, researchers may never know how these creatures truly lived in the wild or understand their behavior. Therefore, preserving the lives of these animals should remain an ethical priority for us all. Still, others argue that the ethics of killing Bigfoot depend upon the existence of the creature itself. They argue that if the creature is proven to exist and is capable of intelligent behavior, then it should be treated with the same respect as any other living being and should not be hunted or killed. This notion is based on the ethic of respect for life and suggests that even if Sasquatch poses a risk, it is still wrong to take away the creature's life without serious cause. Killing it would be akin to murder. The debate on the ethical merits of killing Bigfoot is a complex one, with many different factors to consider. One such factor is the rights that Bigfoot might possess as a sentient entity. While it may be difficult to determine whether or not Bigfoot should be considered legally sentient, if they are, then they deserve to be accorded the same basic rights and protections as people. This includes the right to life, liberty, and property, all of which must be taken into account when deciding whether or not it would ethically permissible to kill it. Any attempt to kill Bigfoot must be done in full compliance with the rules and laws that have been put in place. Furthermore, any attempts to kill Bigfoot should only be made when absolutely necessary for self-preservation or self-defense. In such cases, it would be important for hunters and researchers to take all available precautions so as not to cause unnecessary harm or distress. Such precautions may include using non-lethal weapons and methods of capture whenever possible. In addition, any potential risks posed by killing a Bigfoot should also be carefully considered before taking action. If Bigfoot do in fact exist, it is important to consider their right to property. If we accept that a creature like Bigfoot deserves the same rights as humans, then any attempts at taking economic advantage of them would need to be done according to laws and regulations designed specifically for their protection. This begs the question, do Bigfoot own the land they inhabit? If so, this could potentially complicate exploitation efforts, since it would mean that any attempts to take advantage of them must first account for existing legal protections concerning private ownership of land. Furthermore, understanding whether or not Bigfoot have established property rights over certain areas could also have implications on how we interact with these creatures ethically and legally if they are ever encountered by humans in their natural habitat. The implications of hunting Bigfoot extend further than just the ethical considerations. It raises questions about how humans should interact with and influence their surrounding environment. This is because many believe that it is our responsibility to protect nature and its inhabitants, instead of exploiting them for our own benefit. Some argue that going after Bigfoot would be a violation of this duty, as well as potentially disrupt the delicate balance of ecosystems which are so important to maintaining biodiversity in nature. Ultimately, it comes down to whether we prioritize protecting or exploiting our natural resources, a question that has no easy answer. Those who want to hunt and kill Bigfoot believe that as long as humans are utilizing natural resources in a way that does not negatively impact the environment, then they have the right to do so for their own ends. This includes hunting wildlife, including possible mythical creatures like Bigfoot. However, these individuals also recognize the importance of following established laws and regulations when it comes to hunting such an animal, if it exists. Regardless of whether one supports or opposes killing Bigfoot, it should always be done in accordance with laws and regulations designed to protect them from harm and exploitation. Furthermore, any attempts at capturing or restraining them should only be done in cases where it is absolutely necessary for research purposes or for their own safety. Ultimately, it is up to each individual to decide what they believe is ethically permissible when it comes to killing Bigfoot. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to Connect Paranormal. This will allow us to make more videos. Thanks for watching.